If this doesn't convince you that lifting weights is vital for your health, I truly don't know what will. This is a cross section or a cut of the muscle thigh of a 30-year-old woman who lifts weights. And this is in comparison to someone who's also 30, a woman who doesn't lift weight. And you could see the difference is pretty alarming. Just at 30 years old, there's more muscle in someone who's lifting weights, but actually things get drastically worse. Now you're seeing the cross section of a 7-year-old woman who lifts weights versus someone who doesn't, who's also 70. And you could see a significant difference. At this point, you're seeing more fat surrounding the muscle in a 7-year-old who's not lifting weights, and also less muscle. That is actually dangerous. That's called myosteatosis, and that's fat surrounding the muscle, making the muscle less active. And not only that, there's less muscle in the 7-year-old, and that is changes that happen when they're 30, 50, 60, and now it looks significantly worse at 70 years old. And by that point, these patients have high risk of osteoporosis, high risk of falling, and also significantly worse metabolic problems with insulin resistance because of lack of muscle. But if you don't believe me, check out these MRI images. You're seeing the difference now in a man, a 74-year-old active triathlete and a 74-year-old sedentary man. And you could see in the MRI images that there's a significant difference in the muscle, the bulk of the muscle, but also the fat surrounding that muscle, making that muscle not only less active, you also have more visceral fat surrounding that muscle. And because of that, you have more chronic issues. And that's why it's not surprising that those who do resistance training have more higher independence, have a less risk of falling and having fractures. And if you have a fracture, you have a 35 to 50% risk of passing away that same year. That's what's so important, and something that I highly encourage anybody to start doing resistance training as early as possible, because as you can see, those changes add up year to year. Do resistance training as soon as possible.